Welcome to the first of hopefully many videos to come about the design and build process for my DIY CNC gantry style mill. In the future, I will go into more details about the various design aspects, decisions that were made and why they were made, and cover the build process in depth. But today I wanted to just kind of talk about what I'm currently working on, and that is modeling all of the fasteners throughout the entire assembly. Now, as I was designing this, I wanted to save installing or modeling all of the fasteners to be one of the last things that I did. Now, the reason that I wanted to save modeling all of the hardware and fasteners for last is that I find sometimes, especially with larger assemblies, whenever you have a bunch of hardware in your assembly, it can really slow down um, your ability to work with the model. It can um, make it a lot harder for you to manipulate the model due to all the joints and connections. And so what I like to do is I'll usually model all the fastener holes and the places where I want fasteners to be, but I will, instead of installing or modeling all of the fasteners, I will just go ahead and model one of the fasteners in that particular location. So if you look at this location right here where the ball screw support is fastened to the um, printed bracket right here, I have just one of the four fasteners modeled at this location. And what that does is it allows me to go ahead and verify that the grip length of the fastener is correct, whether I'm going to be putting a nut on the back of the fastener, or if, for example, over at these carriages, the fastener just threads right into the carriage, and I want to make sure that it's not going to bottom out in the bottom of those carriage fastener holes. And so by installing just one of those fasteners, I can go ahead and check all of those important features, make sure that that fastener is going to work for that particular application, but I don't have to install all the fasteners, therefore slowing down my computer and my ability to work with the model um, throughout the remaining design process. But whenever I get to the end and my design is nearly complete, I do find it is important for me to go ahead and model as many of the fastener locations as I can. Doing this allows me to check various things. For example, it allows me to check for clashes. So if I look over here as an example, where these carriages fasten to the overhead gantry bracket here, if you look in this back corner right here, previously, when I was in the early stages of designing, I did not have all these fasteners installed, and I just had a hole there. And when I just had a hole, it appeared to not clash with any of these walls. But then once I installed that socket head cap screw, I could see that due to the larger diameter of that screw, it was going to clash with these sidewalls, and I had to address that. And so by going ahead and actually modeling all these fastener locations, I was able to catch some interference issues that would have posed some issues whenever I went to go ahead and actually start assembling this. So it's good that I'm able to catch those things before I get to that point. Another thing that installing all the fasteners allows you to do is it allows you to check and make sure, is what I've modeled or what I'm planning to do actually even possible in terms of being assembled. And so I guess if we look over here, for example, let's see. So this right here is, these are aluminum plate that are fastened together. And so if you look right here in particular, you can see that there is a fastener that's coming up from the bottom of this plate into these vertical gusset plates here. And by going through and actually modeling all those fasteners in this entire assembly, it also gives me a chance to think through the assembly process. So in this location, for example, I have to think through, okay, I'm going to have to install this fastener and fasten this bottom plate to these vertical plates first, and then I can go ahead and mount that entire assembly to these linear carriages here, because once they're mounted to the carriages, I will not have access to those bottom fasteners. And so just by going ahead, installing or modeling all the fasteners, taking a close look at each of those fastener locations, thinking through how am I actually going to install this, what is the assembly process, it allows you to catch a lot of issues before you get to actually physically building it and then finding issues, having to go back, redesign, remanufacture, and fix those issues. And then the last thing that I find is really helpful is whenever I have to go and actually start ordering parts, if I have all the fastener locations modeled, I can really easily create a bill of materials, see exactly how many of each type of fastener I need, and it makes ordering hardware a lot easier. Because without doing that, if I look right here, I have a separate product structure that is filled with all of my hardware and fasteners. And if I had to go through here, I have some, various sizes of fasteners, different grip lengths, some different thread pitches. If I had to go through there and create a spreadsheet and try and count each of those fasteners, it's almost guaranteed that I'm going to forget some or count incorrectly, and then once I get to assembly, have to go back, reorder fasteners, and it's just a pain. So it's just an added benefit of modeling all of your hardware is you then can really easily create a bill of materials, know exactly how much of each fastener you need, and it makes things a lot easier. So I'm just going to go ahead. I can do a couple here as an example. So right here, I have a single fastener modeled, and now that I'm towards the end of my design, I'll go ahead and I'll just do duplicate with joints, select the fastener that I want to duplicate, and then it's go through and you select all your fastener locations, and it should auto duplicate the joint that you have at that location, just like that. And I can do the same thing over here, duplicate with joints, select the fastener, select all the holes. So this is what I'm working on right now. I'm going to go ahead and finish up installing all these fasteners, create my bill of materials, and then I'll be ready to start ordering hardware. So hopefully here pretty soon I'll be receiving some parts, and I'll start, probably the next thing for me is going to be machining all of these brackets.